getting fired. Angel Reese, a coach killer? Is that what's going on here? It seems she might be a coach and a teammate killer. Angel Reese faces uncertain future in Chicago after publicly torching her teammates.
All right. The Chicago Sky have come down with a punishment on Angel Reese for her comments in regards to her teammates.
Friday's game due to her continued groin injury, and Angel Reese has been suspended for Friday's game after getting assessed a technical foul Wednesday night for pimp slapping Aaliyah Edwards.
8 technical fouls. That's Angel Reese's tally this season, and everyone has dragged the Chicago Sky deeper into chaos. She was supposed to headline the WNBA's biggest rivalry against Caitlin Clark, the matchup fans were promised all year. Instead, Reese keeps sidelining herself with drama.
Be here with you guys today. Kathy Engelbert tried to rig the cards in the WNBA's favor by having the Indiana Fever and the Chicago Sky go head-to-head 5 times this season. Unfortunately for Kathy Engelbert, Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese will only be going head-to-head one of.
From UFC-style backhands on the court to calling out her own teammates off it, she isn't building Chicago, she's breaking it. And her latest suspension may be the final straw. Angel Reese's rookie season was supposed to be about dominance, highlight plays, sold-out arenas, and a rivalry with Caitlin Clark that would carry the WNBA into a new era. Instead, it's being defined by something else entirely: her suspensions. With 8 technical fouls already on the books, Reese has reached a point where the headlines are no longer about her potential, but about her punishments.
Look at this again. I know I'm going to catch copyright if I let it slide too much. Let me get close to the moment. Here it is. Here it is. Bam! Oh, my goodness. You can see the hair moving on it. And AE just bent over. She just like, oh. So, looking like somebody just yelled at the top of their lungs in her eardrums.
Each whistle hasn't just been a slap on the wrist. It's been another suspension, another missed matchup, another letdown for fans who were promised fireworks. Out of 5 games scheduled between the Chicago Sky and Indiana Fever, Reese has only been available once. The league designed rivalry week around Clark and Reese, Allie versus Frazier with ponytails. But instead, the storyline has collapsed into a series of what could have been. And the pattern is impossible to ignore. Instead of lifting her team, Reese keeps pulling herself off the court with emotional outbursts that look more like self-sabotage than competitive fire. Every foul adds up, and every absence chips away at the image of the star she was supposed to become. Angel Reese isn't just sitting out games. She's slowly building a reputation as the league's most volatile player. The play that sparked Reese's latest suspension didn't look like basketball. It looked like combat sports. In the middle of a heated possession against the Washington Mystics, Angel Reese spun on Aaliyah Edwards and delivered a backhand across her face so sharp it could have been replayed on a WWE broadcast. Slow-motion replays showed everything: the wind-up, the torque, the follow-through. Fans froze the clip online, comparing it to a pro wrestling slap, a Mortal Kombat move, even a Vince McMahon script. To make it worse, Aaliyah Edwards sold it like a Broadway veteran, collapsing, clutching her head, and giving the moment the kind of drama that guaranteed it would be replayed endlessly. The internet exploded. Half the comments defended Reese, calling it competitive fire and brushing it off as part of the game. The other half called it exactly what it looked like: a cheap shot. And while fans debated, the referees didn't. Reese picked up her 8th technical foul of the year, a number that automatically triggered suspension. What should have been another chance to shine turned into another headline about chaos. Instead of scoring points, she was scoring ejections. Instead of fueling her rivalry with Caitlin Clark, she was fueling memes about the WNBA turning into a fight club. And in that moment, one thing became clear. Angel Reese wasn't just playing the game anymore, she was becoming the spectacle.
Damn, Angel. Damn. Jag the game at the free throw line, man. It's a lot of controversy going on in Chicago. The Sky fans are blaming Tyler Marsh for Angel Reese losing the game at the free throw line and ruining the Chicago Sky's chances of really cutting the lead down to 1 and giving themselves a chance to keep playing. and try to get an upset in Phoenix. Angel played a hell of a game, 15 points, 20 rebounds. We cannot poo-poo.
If the suspensions weren't enough, Angel Reese managed to create just as much chaos off the court with her own words. In a Chicago Tribune interview, she didn't just critique the team. She torched her teammates by name. Rachel Bannum, not a leader. Haley Van Lith, not ready for the league. Courtney Vandersloot, too old and broken. Kia Nurse, too busy gossiping. Rebecca Allen, shouldn't even be here. It wasn't constructive criticism, it was a roast session disguised as honesty. And it didn't stop there. Even rookie head coach Tyler Marsh wasn't safe. Reese told the media he needed to coach harder, as if the problem was his work ethic rather than the team's 9-30 record. For a franchise already struggling, it was gasoline on an open flame. Inside the locker room, the fallout was immediate. Veteran players who had spent years grinding for respect suddenly found themselves publicly dismissed by a rookie with less than a full season under her belt. Younger teammates, marketed as future stars, were reduced to punchlines in Reese's media routine. Instead of unity, the Chicago Sky looked more like the divided cast of a reality show. But just as quickly as she ignited the fire, Reese tried to walk it back. 2 days later, her tone shifted completely. She insisted her comments had been misunderstood. She claimed she loved her teammates, that the media twisted her words, that she never meant to offend anyone. It was the kind of PR pivot so predictable you could almost set your watch to it. The problem? Once you call out teammates by name, there's no undoing it. Apologies become wallpaper over cracks in the foundation. To veterans, her sudden change of heart wasn't a genuine apology. It was damage control. To rookies, it felt like whiplash. First being told they weren't good enough, then being told they'd simply misheard. Reese tried to spin the narrative, but the damage was done. The locker room didn't hear an explanation. They heard betrayal. And whether she realized it or not, Angel Reese had turned her own team from colleagues into skeptics. By the time the dust settled, the Chicago Sky's season wasn't just disappointing. It was historically bad. Sitting at 9:30, the team wasn't just losing, they were collapsing. And instead of leading them through it, Angel Reese carried herself like a superstar above the wreckage, demanding reinforcements while standing ankle-deep in failure. The optics were devastating. She was supposed to be the face of a rebuild, the marketing spark to sell tickets and jerseys. But what the Sky got instead looked more like a reality show in sneakers. Locker room feuds, cryptic comments to the press, and a rookie calling out veterans who had championships on their resumes.
Angel Reese is at the bottom of the pick and roll shot attempts list, and it kind of makes sense if you really watch. So on her first game back from injury, somebody interviewed her and asked her, what do you think about Uzan joining the team? How's that change things? And she said, hopefully I'll get more pick and roll touches.
For the front office, it was a nightmare. They gambled on Reese to be the franchise cornerstone, but every suspension, every feud, every viral headline chipped away at that vision. Instead of elevating the Sky into contenders, she'd turned them into a case study on dysfunction. Executives around the league noticed too. Whispers began circulating. On a true championship roster, Reese wouldn't be the star. She wouldn't be the centerpiece. At best, she'd be a supporting piece, valuable, but not the queen she insists on being. Yet here she was, torching teammates, undermining coaches, and acting like the league was hers to carry. The irony was brutal. Instead of driving the Sky forward, she was dragging them into deeper chaos. And the scoreboard, 9 wins and 30 losses, told the truth no PR spin could cover. When the WNBA circled Angel Reese's rookie season on the calendar, it wasn't just about Chicago. It was about selling a rivalry, Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. Commissioner Kathy Engelbert pushed the idea hard, scheduling 5 Chicago Sky Indiana Fever matchups, branding it as the league's version of Allie versus Frazier. It was supposed to be must-see TV, the crown jewel of rivalry week. But the reality? A disaster. Out of those 5 heavily promoted games, Reese has only played in 1. Caitlin Clark has battled injuries, sidelined for weeks at a time. And Reese? She kept sabotaging herself with technical fouls and suspensions. The WNBA promised fireworks, but fans were handed damp sparklers. What was meant to be a defining rivalry for women's basketball became a blooper reel of absences, missed opportunities, and bad timing. Instead of headlines about two young stars trading buckets, the conversation turned to suspension counts, disciplinary rulings, and frustration from fans who felt misled. For the league, it was devastating. That Clark-Reese rivalry was supposed to pull in new audiences, boost TV ratings, and cement a new generation of WNBA stars. Instead, it collapsed under the weight of injuries and self-inflicted chaos, leaving the league scrambling for storylines that could capture even half the hype. And for Angel Reese, it wasn't just a missed opportunity. It was a reputation. She wasn't becoming known as Clark's rival, she was becoming known as her own worst enemy. If there's one thing Angel Reese guarantees, it's conversation. Every suspension, every slap, every comment sparks instant debate, and the basketball world can't seem to agree on who she really is. To her supporters, Reese is fiery, unapologetic, and exactly what the WNBA needs. A star who isn't afraid to ruffle feathers and bring attention to the league. They argue that her edge sets her apart, that her confidence is refreshing in a sport often overlooked, and that her drama is at least keeping women's basketball in the headlines. But to her critics, she's reckless, a rookie who hasn't earned the right to carry herself like a villain. They point to her 8 technical fouls, the public shots at her own teammates, and the team's 9-30 record as proof that her words and actions outweigh her contributions on the court. To them, she's less a franchise savior and more a walking distraction. And the split doesn't stop at the fans. Around the league, whispers have started about free agents avoiding Chicago, unwilling to join a locker room where one wrong move could land them in the next newspaper headline. Reese's competitiveness may draw attention, but it also raises a question: is she building a brand or burning bridges? Whether you see her as fearless or destructive, one thing is undeniable. Angel Reese has made herself impossible to ignore. And in a league fighting for relevance, that might be her most powerful and dangerous weapon. The Chicago Sky thought they were drafting a star player. What they got instead was the lead actress in a never-ending drama. Every week brought a new storyline: suspensions, slaps, public feuds, and awkward apologies. Instead of building chemistry, the team was hosting what felt like group therapy sessions. Reports surfaced of tense team meetings that felt less like strategy huddles and more like HR interventions. Veterans sat quietly as Reese's comments were dissected, rookies shifted uncomfortably in their chairs, and coaches tried to glue the pieces back together. It wasn't about X's and O's anymore. It was about damage control. Head coach Tyler Marsh, just months into the job, found himself less of a basketball strategist and more of a babysitter in a burning daycare. Instead of designing plays, he was diffusing arguments. Instead of teaching rookies, he was defending his own authority after Reese told the world he needed to coach harder. On paper, the Sky wanted a franchise cornerstone who could drive ticket sales and spark excitement. In reality, they got a locker room divided into factions, a roster losing faith in its leader, and a constant cloud of negativity hanging over every game. Chicago wasn't playing basketball anymore. They were starring in a soap opera, and Angel Reese was the main character. At the end of the day, all the drama, suspensions, and headlines come down to one undeniable truth. The scoreboard. The Chicago Sky finished at 9-30. A record that no amount of PR spin, social media clout, or viral clips can cover up. For all the noise Angel Reese has created, the team has only gotten worse. And that's the irony. Reese was drafted to be the face of a rebuild, the rival to Caitlin Clark, and a rising superstar who could lift the WNBA into the mainstream. Instead, she's become its chaos engine, loved by some for her fire, written off by others as reckless. To her supporters, she's misunderstood. To her critics, she's the problem. But either way, she's impossible to ignore. For the league, that's both a blessing and a curse. Reese guarantees attention, but not for the reasons the WNBA hoped. Instead of highlight reels, fans are watching reality TV drama unfold on the court. Instead of building rivalries, she's tearing apart her own locker room. And until she shifts the narrative back to basketball, her story won't be about championships or greatness, it will be about controversy. Angel Reese has kept herself in the spotlight. The question now is whether she can finally use it to play the role she was meant for, star player, or if she'll keep playing the role she's written for herself, the WNBA's most polarizing troublemaker. So here we are. Angel Reese was supposed to be the WNBA's next big star, the face of a rivalry that could define a generation. Instead, she's fighting suspensions, feuding with teammates, and leaving fans wondering if she's a savior or a saboteur. The Chicago Sky wanted a leader, but got a headline machine. And as the drama grows louder than the game itself, one question remains. Will Angel Reese rewrite her story on the court, or let her legacy be defined by the chaos she created off it?